as of right now, Mississippi State, we do know their three permanent opponents will be Ole Miss, which everybody knew that, Alabama, which is a game that there was a lot of discussion about really over the years, whether or not State Alabama would be a permanent game because of some of the different factions at play there. And then, interestingly enough, Vanderbilt, Team State does not have a
Right.
whole lot of history with, but I'm not complaining one bit about that. Um, a little bit of a weird one. So this is what I'll say. Mississippi State was always going to be in an interesting situation with this because ultimately there is one game State has to play within the SEC, and that's the Egg Bowl. There is
Mhm.
not another rivalry. And yeah, Mayhem brings it only over a 4-year period. So this is not going to be the case. This may be the case beyond 4 years. If it all goes to plan and it looks well, then maybe they'll stick with it, but it could change. Um, the Egg Bowl is the only game Mississippi State has to play. There is not a secondary SEC rivalry that either Mississippi State or an opponent views as like, oh, that's a game we have to have. Um, there's a ton of history with the likes of Alabama, LSU, Auburn. Mississippi State is actually the most played opponent for all three of those teams. The LSU one is always weird to me. I would have assumed Ole Miss. The Auburn, Alabama one, that's a little bit of like everyone would assume it's those teams would be each other's most played, but there was a long stretch where the Iron Bowl did not get played because of nastiness within the rivalry. So State and Auburn played Mississippi State a bunch. So State's the most played opponent for those three teams. A ton of games over the years. So there's a lot of history uh, with Mississippi State mostly being on the losing end, but it's still a lot of games been played historically. But none of those are true rivalries. There have been moments. I think if you look on Mississippi State's Wikipedia, it talks about LSU State and Bama State as being rivalry games. Mississippi State fans do not consider those rivalries, and the other side of those the other side of those games do not consider them rivalries either. It's just other than being a regional conference rival. It's just those are games that have been played historically. That said, well, so with that in mind, if the only game you have to get played is the Egg Bowl, that meant that we're going to open the door for other weird games to potentially get